Hey there, it's Dave from Running Start Australia. Now in today's video, I have for you 5 essentials that every new runner needs to have in their toolkit, along with 4 things that are nice to have, but not essential to hit the road. Let's get into them. Running in it, well, number 1, no surprise, good pair of shoes. Now, if you're just starting your running journey, you don't need the flashiest of flashy shoes, but you do need something that's going to be comfortable for you during your run. If you currently own some sports shoes that you feel pretty confident in, they provide you with a bit of support, then that's all you need, right? If, for example, you have absolutely nothing to begin with, you've just got an old pair of Vans and some high heels, then we probably do need to get you some sort of running shoe. Now, price is not always a guide on what's better or worse. And I would highly recommend that you visit either a running specialty store or at least somewhere where it's going to analyze your gait and is going to understand if your foot pronates, supinates, or if you're a neutral runner. If, however, for some reason you can't get your foot gait analyzed, or you're unsure if you roll in or if you roll out, then sticking with a neutral shoe is probably a safe bet. We want to avoid overcorrecting or undercorrecting specific running patterns, so a neutral shoe will basically just allow you to move as you naturally do, but with a bit of support. Spending more doesn't equal a better shoe, and I've had many shoes over my running career, and there's been some that are really expensive, which I kind of never wish I bought. It's a bit of trial and error. One hot tip, if you do come across a shoe that you like and that you think you'd like to run in regularly, then have a look to see if you can buy last year's model or an old colorway. Sometimes you can get them at discount outlets and you can save a whole bunch of money. As a general rule, you probably want to be changing your running shoes. Depends on how many kilometers you're running, how long you run for. But if you haven't changed your shoes in a year and you're running regularly, it's probably time for you to buy a new pair of shoes. Coming in at number 2, pretty obvious, but you're going to need some comfortable clothing to run in, right? You don't, again, have to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe in order to start running. Just something comfortable that is going to work for you. And probably the most important factor in deciding what to wear is to think about your climate, where you live, and what sort of elements you're exposed to. Today, it is a slightly chilly Queensland winter day, 15 degrees, light breeze. I'm probably slightly underdressed. I would probably want to wear a t-shirt rather than a singlet today to give me a little bit more warmth because it's getting a little bit chilly out here. But generally my preference is just some easy shorts and a really simple t-shirt or singlet, and these don't have to be expensive. I have run some of my longest races and events in literally $3 pairs of shorts that I've got from Kmart. It doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to be comfortable for you. Also think about your socks you're wearing. There's heaps of socks out in the market, some which are run specific, and if you find that they provide a little bit more support and cushioning for you, then that's great, but they're not a necessity. Other things to consider can be hats or visors, can be great for sun, some sunglasses as well. If you're frequently running during daylight hours, you might want to consider some running style sunglasses, but literally anything that's going to offer some UV protection will do, and the rest is all a little bit of preference. Other things you may want to take along with you, I always try and find shorts that have a pocket or a little pouch on the inside where I can put my keys. You might choose to get a little bit of a running belt or something to put your phone or other accessories in as well. Just make sure you're dressed for the occasion, but you don't need to look flashy, you don't need to go and buy a whole new wardrobe. You just need something functional, comfortable, and you're going to be able to move easily in. Talking of comfort during running, another thing that sometimes you might think about when you start running is chafing. It's a natural part of life, and depending on your body, you might have chafing in different areas. So it's good to have a bit of a proactive plan. Some of the most common places for chafing and rubbing can be on the feet, especially if you have new shoes or you're not used to them. Thinking about how securely you're tying your shoelaces, having some socks that maybe protect the back of your foot is good as well. If you're still having dramas with your feet, band-aids are a blessing there. Other common places of chafing can be the inner thigh as well. Different options for this is you could use a preventative barrier cream such as Body Glide, which looks a little bit like this. Or you could use some plain old Vaseline as well to help rub on that area before you going out running to prevent friction. Another thing to consider if you're getting chafing on the inner thigh, look for some slightly longer pants maybe, or something has a bit of a compression element to it. Something like bike shorts, which might have the outer layer plus a compression layer on the inside, so it almost creates a second skin for your legs so that you don't have rubbing. Another common place for chafing can be the underarm. Again, considering a shirt or something, even an arm sleeve that has a bit of a compression element can help there, or using something like Body Glide. Under boobs, that's another common place as well. Having a bra that supports you, or again, using something like Body Glide under there to support you will make for a more pleasant run. And finally, this might be more for the guys, but nipple chafe. Probably the one that I get the most with. It's no fun having a shirt that's rubbing against your nips, and very often ends up with a bit of bleeding. So put a Band-Aid over it, or something like a bandage or something before you go out running to prevent that. Chafing is just a normal part of moving, especially if you're doing a lot of new movement. So being able to prevent that from happening so you can be the most comfortable you can be is going to help you feel more successful in your running journey. Picture it now. You're 15 minutes into your run and your mouth is dry as anything and there's not a drop of water to be found. Having an adequate plan for hydration, regardless of how short or long your run is important. Plenty of choices on the market if you'd like to buy a commercial water bottle to either hold. There's some really soft pouchy styles. You can get ones that go on your belt. For me, I like to plan my running routes around access to bubblers and water, so I know that I can have water when I start my run at home. There might be a few bubblers along the way or taps that I can drink out of, and then obviously I'm not too far from access to water when I finish at home or a cafe as well. Making sure you're adequately hydrated before, during, and after your run is going to allow your muscles to perform better and give you a better chance of a successful recovery. And last but not least, number 5 is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You need to have a plan to start running. And it doesn't have to be super complicated or hard. Just knowing when you're going to run, what time of day, which days of the week, where you're going to be running, understanding the track that you are running in a familiar area, and knowing how long you're going to go for. Remembering that you want to start out easy, going out the door, taking a walk with a few little jogs for 30 seconds at a time for maybe 10-15 minutes is an ideal first run. You don't need to go out there and run 20 kilometers the very first time. Getting yourself a coach or having a plan structured out for you can really help with that. Here at Running Start, that's exactly what we do. We take runners, regardless of if you've never run before or you're very experienced, from where they are up to 5K runs and beyond. We do it in a really friendly and approachable way where you'll feel successful and amazing after each run. We also combine strength and mobility work to help make you a well-rounded and robust runner who's going to avoid injury and be able to run for many years to come. All right, so they're the 5 essentials, and I promised you 4 bonus ones, right? So let's rapid fire hit them. Number 1, foam roller. Everybody's seen one? You might even already have one. These are really essential as part of our injury prevention and injury management. It's kind of a given that at some stage you're going to have some tight muscles and they're going to need a good releasing. In the absence of having a massage therapist available for you, foam roller is the next best thing. You don't have to get a super expensive roller, but definitely getting something that's of good quality, that has a good density to it, and that is a length and size that works for you. Next, trigger ball. Doesn't have to be complicated. This is a $2 cricket ball, which you can use just like the foam roller, but it helps to pinpoint smaller areas that can be hard for the roller to target. Having a range of sizes and shapes of balls can be really helpful to help with feet, hips, legs, even your back and your shoulders as well. It's going to help you feel more fresh and help you stay on the road a little bit longer. As you start to experience longer runs and moving through different distances, having a watch that you can take along with you is going to be really, really helpful. At its bare minimums at Running Start, we recommend a watch that can tell the time, because most of our beginner running programs are time-based. But as you start to progress throughout your journey, it can be beneficial for not only you, but also your coach to understand how fast you're running, how far you're running, and also other key metrics, such as your heart rate and your blood oxygen. All these together give us a better picture of how you're running. If you're looking at buying a watch for running and you're trying to think about what features are important, I would recommend one that has onboard GPS, so you don't have to run with a smartphone, although it's always an option, and a decent heart rate monitor as well. You don't have to go out there and buy the flashiest of watch, just something that's going to work for you and your lifestyle. All right, and last but not least, maybe some headphones. A little bit of music along the way. This is purely personal choice. It may marginally improve your performance if you end up listening to a song that really pumps you up, but it can be a great way to pass the time when running, either listening to music or podcasts, depending on your vibe. Having something that's going to provide adequate sweat proofing for you as well. You might also want to invest in something like a little pouch for your phone to carry with you. It doesn't have to be complicated. There's nothing wrong with wired headphones. Just something that you're happy to get a little bit sweaty and that you feel comfortable with wearing in your ears. And there you have it, my 5 essential things that every runner needs, plus a few bonuses. Takeaway from today is just to make sure you're comfortable, that you're well supported, and that you know what you're doing. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. My name's Dave from Running Start Australia. If you would like to learn more about what we do, helping runners get up to 5Ks, then visit us at runningstart.com.au. Till next time, stay safe and happy running.